Oh, I won't need the whole 10 minutes. All right, coffee's on. How we doing, boys and girls? I think we should all go watch Joe Rogan Show 1609, and then we'll come back to a new one. Because this one's just whatever. Yeah, he ain't gonna debate me for no $50. But hey, you're using 45-year-old outdated safety guidelines that lost in court, arbitrary and capricious. Didn't look at the vulnerability of children or pregnant women. But hey, you're a savior of humanity. Tonnage with your rockets, whether it be CO2 or aluminum and microwaves just don't mix, and neither does the brain, and aluminum deposits on the brain and Alzheimer's and just a whole bunch of shit. So yeah, your pods that you have on your website, are they going to be able to shield for pregnant women? No. 2, 3, 400 times X more radiation than Earth? No. I see there's no sensors on those glass, so if that glass fails, like a rock hits it, or it just fails from the radiation, you're going to explode in a few seconds. So yeah. I think we're just going to, hopefully we'll come back. You guys watch over Environmental Health Trust, the FCC losing to Environmental Health Trust. You get to hear her spiel on, lying about cumulative effects. And then we'll come back and we'll talk more about, we should really call out the companies invested in Elon and be like, really? You promote Elon saying wrap cell phones around your head and your balls and you'll be fine? Come on now. You're telling children that on Joe Rogan Show, #1 podcast in the world, and you could make up for that by going back on there with Environmental Health Trust, and there are 252 scientists from 43 nations that signed the call for protection from non-ionizing radiation. But, you'd lose a lot of money doing that, right? But hey, you're trying to be the savior of humanity. You should really look at, all the microwaves on a small child's brain that's not even fully developed. But, that kind of, pulls money from you, $11 trillion a year. Hey, your microwaves are fucking up the kids' brains. Oh, and then here goes their sales. You don't take my word for it. You can just go to your about page, legal ARP, exposure your phone, and it says the millimeter that you need to keep away from your body. Not just your head, your body. To not exceed the 1.6. But that 1.6 is kind of false anyways. A lot of fraud involved in that FCC 1996 safety guideline that you ride on for all your products. You ride on fraud. Show me how you don't. Environmental Health Trust, just click on key issues, pull on to industrial influences, and you can read all about it. You can even read on how they made them lie about the abstract. So the phones look like they were safe. And Elon, you make your money on that. Don't you call out fraud? Isn't that your thing? Why don't you call it that? They lost in 2021 and they're still dragging their feet. And then they push for fast track proposal. But that's a good thing for you. Make that money and make those cars run, right? You ain't stopping that, are you? No, you need that. So Rob Brown came out with a book, a radiologist, someone who really knows about radiation. He's got a video over on Environmental Health Trust. It's 10,000 microwatts per meter squared at the window. And that thing, I eyeballed it. To me, it looks like about 1,000 feet away, somewhere around there. You could just get an idea of what it's going to be if it's 50 feet, 25 feet, 15 feet, 5 feet. I don't even know how close they can put it to your house, but they can put it next to your house. You can't say nothing. You can't go to your municipality and say, hey, can you remove that? Nope, sorry, owned by the government, got to stay there. Health and safety and health things, they don't need to check that shit anymore. And then once they get approval, they can turn up signals, they can turn up power density. Usually you don't apply for another one. And you can see over an Environmental Health Trust, they had a whole lot of problems just getting the Freedom of Information Act to get the testing that they did, and they still didn't get it. And then later on, they found out some of the stuff. Like, they shut off frequencies when they do their testing. Where's the cumulative effects? If you're only going to turn on just a few of them, do your test and go, look, we passed. Shut that one on, turn on another one. Oh, look, we passed. And then when you walk away, you turn them all on, and yeah. So you have a couple different meters. You have a Safe and Sound Pro meter. You have a Wavemon RF60. That's for cell phone tower workers and radiologists. You have billingbiologist.org for hiring a specialist to test your home. Don't bother asking them real complex medical questions. You're going to need environmental health trust for that. And you can go over there and you can request expert to interview if you have a YouTube channel. And if you're a mom and pop one, I strongly suggest you reach out and do that, because big platforms ain't going to do it. Why? Cell phone money. And whatever else from the telecom industry. I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean, your electric sensors in your vehicles and all electric vehicles, for EMF levels, they are not required by law to give that number out. Between 3 and 4 milligauss, that is borderline for childhood leukemia. And some of the numbers I've seen, according to AI, is between somewhere around 15 to 30 milligauss, all the way up to 300. But I really want to see for sure. And the robotaxi is probably going to be even more, seeing there's probably going to be a lot more sensors needed for that thing. So I would like to see that. So upon getting my settlement money, I will be buying meters to test. It'd be good to know, especially for a pregnant woman riding in it or a child, which I asked Elon a few times, and I still have not received a response. I want to know if it's safe for either one of them to sit in that vehicle. I have a thing from a pediatrician that's a whole list of them over at the Baby Safe Project, an offshoot of the Environmental Health Trust. There's a lot out there. But there you go. I mean, you said some things on Joe Rogan that's not true, and you can go back on there and bring Environmental Health Trust, Deborah Davis, Rob Brown, Theodore Serrano, just, a whole plethora of scientists that you could bring on there and be humanity's savior. I mean, you're going to lose a shitload of money? Yeah, a shitload of money.